Erev Tov, Rabotai. Hope you had a nice holiday. Chanukah Sameach. Let's talk about something interesting regarding eating breakfast in the morning. Aruchat Boker. So what do I want to tell you? It says in the Gemara, Masechet Shabbat, Daf Yud Amud Aleph, talks about different times of eating the shachrit, pat shachrit, the breakfast. So what about the first hour, right? If you eat the first hour of the day. So what are we talking about the first hour? We're talking about after the sun rises, that's the first hour. And then second and third and fourth, right, comes along. It also could be calculated from the time you woke up. If you woke up a little bit late, then it will be according to when you woke up. But anyway, the point is, right, that it says there, the person who eats the first hour, ze machal ludim. You know what this means? Ludim. You're ludim. What is ludim? This is not a good thing. You know what this is? Cannibal. People who they eat human beings. Cannibalim. Why cannibal? What? He eats human beings. What's this guy? No, the thing is that they're very, they're very oriented, towards eating a lot. They're gluttonous. They're gluttons. These people who are cannibals. So because of that, we compare them to people like this. You eat so early like that. The first hour. What? How can you be so hungry the first hour of the day? You should be doing other things at that time. A little bit too early. Have a little coffee. You know what I mean? So go pray shachrit. You're eating at the first hour too early. Not recommended, right? What does that mean to have the seudah at the first hour? Then it says second hour, right? What about the second hour? This is machal listim, What's listim? Banditim, robbers. You know what I mean? So a person who eats the second hour, it's like he's bandit. So what's the difference between ludaim, ludim, the cannibals and the bandits? What's the difference between... So it says Rashi over there explains that the bandits also like to eat, they're very gluttonous. But the thing is, they're going out at night to rob people, so they have to sleep a little bit. So they eat a little bit later. That's why they have to catch up on their sleep. This is why they eat on the second hour. First hour like this, second hour. Okay, so let's go on, right? Furthermore, right? What about the third hour? So it says in Gemara, this is the machal of the yoreshim. You know what this means? Who eats in the third hour? Yoresh. You know what this means? Somebody who inherited a lot of money, from his uncle, from his father, right, grandfather. So he got rich, so he doesn't have to work. He can stay home all day, right? Watch his remote control. He's watching stuff on the like this, living like this. He doesn't have to do nothing. He's batlan because he doesn't need to do parnasa. He's got already millions of dollars, came in already. He's good. So because of that, he eats a little bit early, the third hour. It's considered to be a little bit early. Goes on the Gemara. Okay, what about the fourth hour, right? So the fourth hour, most people eat at the fourth hour. That's what the Gemara says, right? Most people. Most people eat at the fourth hour. So meaning what? This is like, what time are we talking about? We're talking about like 9:30, This kind of time, right? 9:30, fourth hour. This is, most people eat at that time. They get hungry, 9:30, 10 o'clock, they want to eat already. They can't wait anymore. Okay. What about the fifth hour? This is the seudah of the po'alim. It says in the Gemara, right? What does the po'alim means? The people who are laborers, they work. They work with their hands. People like this, right? I'm not talking about a businessman. So what does that mean? Since he works, physically hard, he eats late a little bit. Why? Because, he's working in the morning. He doesn't have time, so he has to wait a couple of hours, until he finishes his job, and then he can sit down to eat breakfast. Fourth hour. So what are we talking about? 10, 10:30, something like that, right? A little bit later. Okay, one more, right? We have, and that's it, right? What about the sixth hour, right? This is machal tamid chachamim, right? This tamid chacham eats it in the sixth hour. Torah scholars, So why is that? Because they're learning Torah in the morning. They don't have time to have breakfast, They have much time, tamid chacham. He has time to eat in the morning. He's learning already, opening the books. He doesn't have time for that, So Talmid Chacham, what time does he eat? Like 11 o'clock, late, 6th hour. Right? In the summer, it's even later, right? 12 o'clock. Daylight savings, right? A little bit different, right? That's what we're talking about. Okay, fine. So says the Gemara, if you eat later than the 6th hour, meaning what? It's after Chatzot. It's after midday, right? That's not healthy anymore, It doesn't benefit your body anymore to eat so late like that. It doesn't benefit the body. You waited too long. So what happens is, the stomach, is like waiting to eat something, and you wait until the middle of the day, it starts to shrivel up, cannot digest anymore the food so good when you eat so late like that. So if you eat like 12, 1 o'clock, it's already too late, for breakfast. I'm not talking about lunch now, right? Breakfast I'm talking about. You shouldn't wait that long. But says the Gemara there also another thing, which is, that's only if somebody, didn't have a snack in the morning, but if he ate something in the morning, a little bit, a snack, he can wait longer, He can wait until lunchtime. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, he can wait. Why? Because he already had something in the morning to hold him over. It wasn't a seudah. A little snack, That's good, and that's good. That's good enough. Then he can wait a little bit longer. So, but then, right, there's another Gemara, in a different place, but two different places there. It talks about pat shachrit. So what's pat shachrit? This means when you early in the morning, after you finish the shachrit, you eat a little snack, right? A little bread, a little mezonot, something like this, right? A little cake, a little rugelach, right? A little crackers, something like that, right? Mezonot or a little bread, right? A little roll, one piece of bread, one slice. It says over there in the Gemara that whoever eats pat shachrit, it saves him from all kinds of diseases, all kinds of illnesses. It's a very big thing, to eat pat shachrit. It saves you, gives you good health, and also good mind, good thinking, good concentration, and it keeps your body healthy and everything good, functioning good. That's what it says in the Gemara. So this is a very big thing, It's not obligation, by the way. I can't tell you, It's not chovah, but it's recommended. The rabbis recommend this. Okay, fine. So now the question is like this, right? But didn't you just tell me, right, to wait till the 4th hour, 5th hour, 6th hour? Now you're telling me that I should have bread in the morning, right? After shachrit, right away, before I go to Beit HaMidrash to learn Torah. So isn't this the contradiction? What's going on here, right? Which one is the truth, right? So the truth is there is no contradiction. You know why? Because when it talks about pat shachrit, as I told you, to eat early in the morning, it's not talking about eating a seudah, to open up the table, with all these good things, have some nice fish and cheese, and all kinds of things, and two rolls, bread. That's like a full meal already. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a little snack, a little khatif, a little something to snack on. A little mezonot, some cookies, some crackers, right? Rugelach, this kind of thing. So to pat shachrit, to have a little snack, you should try to have in the morning. It's good to have. Good for the health. Very good. It saves you from all kinds of problems. Illnesses, lo aleinu, all kinds of things. If you have a little bit. What's a little bit? So Rashi says a mouthful, How much is that? Let's say, 50 grams, or 80 grams. Snack. Little snack. That's going to hold you over for an hour or two, right? 3 hours until you eat the breakfast, a big breakfast, a little bit bigger. Also, I can tell you, right, from my experience, I tell you, that when you eat a big breakfast in the morning, right, this is not so good. You know why? Because it makes you fall asleep, right? You can't wake, you can't stay awake like that. That's why a lot of people don't eat a big meal in the morning. Because they know if they eat, it goes to sleep, right? It puts them right to sleep. It's not so healthy to have a big meal in the morning like that. So then, what's the rule, right? Let's get it straight. The rule is like this, right? Good, very good to have pat shachrit. So what does that mean? After you eat, after you finish pray shachrit in the morning, have a little snack, a little mezonot, a little piece of bread or something, a little roll. Make ala mechia or bikat hamazon, whatever you ate, depends on what you ate. Not too big, right? One roll, one piece of bread, a couple of cookies, 2, 3 crackers. That's it. And then go, for an hour or two like this. This is going to make you nice and healthy and take you and save you from all kinds of problems, Keeps the doctor away, you don't have to go to the doctor so much. It says over there, it saves you from 83 illnesses, this pat shachrit. Considered to be very, very good. Okay, fine. So that's what you do, right? But then, right, after you did, some limud Torah in the morning, right? Or you worked, whatever it is you do in the morning, right? Depending on your schedule, right? Whatever it is that you do, then, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, have a nice breakfast, Like this, 10, 11, 9:30, eat a good breakfast, then this will be much better because you already got something done in the morning, before you had a big fast breakfast and fell asleep. That's no good. Right? This way, it's not gonna be so good for you. So this is the proper way to do. If you do it this way, everything comes out to be good. As we said, right, that if you have something in the morning, a little pachachrit, a little bread in the morning, mezonot, you can eat even later. You don't have to be worried about, am I eating too late? You can wait till 12, 1, because you're okay. You have something in your stomach a little bit. ברוך ה' לעולם, אמן ואמן. רבי חנין גם שאומר, אצל הקדוש ברוך הוא לא זכות ישראל, לפיך החיוב בא להם תורה ומצוות שנאמר לא נחפש, למען צדקו יגדיל תורה בידי.